My name is April Wachtel, and we're here today at Astor Center. We are making a basil simple syrup, and we're going to show how to incorporate it into a cocktail. So we have two different simple syrups that we made here. They're very similar, but they're also quite different. Both of these are basil simple syrups. So basically what we did is we made two 1-to-1 simple syrups, meaning that we added equal parts sugar and equal parts water. So we're talking about, in this case, we used a cup of water, a cup of sugar by volume. And this one we made in the cold process. So we basically just added the sugar and water together, threw in some fresh washed basil leaves, covered it, and then we let it rest for roughly 24 hours. So this is best if you put it in a cool space, so a fridge is ideal. In the case of the hot simple syrup, we added the sugar and the water to a pot on the stove, added the basil leaves, and basically what the difference is here is that the flavor and aroma is going to start appearing much more quickly with the hot process than with the cold process. So you'll have the flavors matured in maybe 30-35 minutes. That being said, it's a very different flavor profile. So the cocktail that we're making today with our basil simple syrup is a riff on a classic handshaken daiquiri. So the ingredients that we'll use are, we're using Bacardi Rum. It's a lovely light rum. We're using our simple syrup that we just made, and then we're going to be using fresh lime juice as well. So the first step we're going to take right now is we're going to cut our lime and squeeze some fresh lime juice. Fresh juice is absolutely essential to making delicious cocktails. The ratio that I'll be using for this cocktail will be 2 parts of the rum to 3/4 parts of the simple syrup, and then an ounce of the fresh lime juice. So in this case, we have our fresh lime juice. So it's 1 ounce. Now we're going to use, as I mentioned, 3/4 of an ounce of the basil simple syrup. And we decided to use the cold process basil simple syrup, so it'll have a much more herbaceous, bright, clean flavor profile. And then we are going to do 2 ounces of the rum. Great, so the next step is to add ice. It's really helpful when you're shaking drinks to add ice to the top of the shaker. So I have my iced cocktail glass right here. I'm going to add ice to my shaker. And then I'll take the metal tin, put it on at an angle, use the meat of my palm to make a nice seal. So in theory, that should be sealed. Flip it over. Everyone does this differently. You can do something very straightforward like this, shaking 10 to 15 seconds. You can do kind of an up and down. But the point is, again, you are chilling your cocktail. It's going to be beautiful and delicious. You want to strain off the last drops of liquid. Got my Hawthorne strainer here. Dump the ice. And then at this point I can choose to just strain it as it is, or I could choose to strain it with a fine strainer. And I think it is appropriate, given that this is it's a beautiful herbaceous cocktail, that we will garnish this with a basil leaf. So it's a nice touch with herbs to just kind of smack the leaf so you get some of the essential oils. And then we'll just garnish it like that. And there is your lovely, delicious, fresh basil daiquiri.